to go back to that super chat, they have to, because yes, okay, you may not have the outright best squad in the league, but at what point do you get over the line? Like being second 3 years in a row has been, in terms of achievements, in terms of where Arsenal were, it's been good. It's been good that you've been challenging, you've been up there. But if it always is about, but we only have to win the league when we've got the best team in the league or the best squad, then that could be forever. So at what point do you actually just step up anyway and win the league? Because did Liverpool have the best squad in the league last year? I wouldn't say they had the best squad in the league and they were still win the league. So it's not just about having the best squad.
KJ, can I interject and ask you a question just for clarity for the viewers?
Yeah.
So when you say, I think what might confuse people is they have to. I suppose the more important element is they have to, or what? Like if someone has to do something, that when in life, when you say you have to do something, it's normally because there's a quite big or what if you don't do it. So for you, what's the or what that comes after that if they don't achieve it, bro?
Yeah. Sorry, the guys shut me. The or what is that? Sorry, it's all good. The or what for me is Arteta needs to be removed. And they just try someone else. Yes, I think it is, because at the end of the day, he has got them to that point, and that's good. Like, I'm not saying what Arteta has done is bad. I think he's done an excellent job to get them to that point. But now Arsenal in the position to be like, right, we need to get over the line. We as a football club have done this rebuilding, we've done this building, we've set ourselves up for this moment. Now it's the time to get over the line, and I think the squad is there. I think the squad building, they've pretty much done it now. The squad is now pretty much plug and play. If they don't win the league this year, I think it's fair to say that they should move on from Arteta and get someone who can actually do that for them. Because otherwise, again, give him a lifetime contract and just let him do what he's doing. And maybe, hopefully, eventually you get there. Like, at some point, we've got to say, let's do this now. Like, it's our time to shine and rise, you know? That's people asking who, right? People asking who would be next. Someone who can take that squad and give something different, because they might be just used to what Arteta's doing. They might need that extra injection from the manager and bring something different. Arne Slot came in, brought something different to Liverpool, got them over the line, right? So if you can go out and try and get, I don't know, maybe see who wins the Bundesliga. Maybe go and get whoever wins the Bundesliga. Maybe Company. If he wins the Bundesliga again, maybe that's something different. I'm not saying that these are the best options, but you can't just always just be like, because I believe there's no one else out there, we just have to keep it. No, sometimes you got to take the risk. Arsenal took the risk with Gyökeres this summer because I believe they needed to take a risk to get over the line. If that even isn't enough, then surely you have to go again, take another risk to go and get over the line. That's just me personally.
The reason why it needs to happen soon is because these players that Arsenal have, these fantastic players that Arsenal have, are not going to sit there and wait for year after year after year after year for it to eventually click. This is year 6 of Arteta, is it? Year 6 or year 7?
Yeah, he joined in November
2019.
So he's in his 6th year.
We're in year 6 of Arteta, and it gets on to another point. The idea that Arsenal fans or a certain section of Arsenal fans sit there and go, I just want a trophy. If all they won this year was the Carabao Cup, they would not be happy. They wouldn't sit here at the end of the season and go, what a successful season that was. They go, why is that the only trophy we've won in 6 years? Why have we not won one of the big ones yet? And then they'd harp on to how Liverpool won one under Arne Slot, and in that time, such and such has won an FA Cup, and such has won a Champions League, and yada, yada, yada. So ultimately, these Arsenal fans who, especially the ones that project about standards, they need one of the big two to happen. They will not be happy otherwise.
What I've noticed, I don't know if Joe, if you've noticed this with like your fans that are split between sort of inners and outers on Arteta. What I've noticed is a lot of the outers are like, I'd take a Carabao Cup this year, Where a lot of the guys that have been Arteta in are like, now if we don't win the league or a big one, then he's got to go. It's like they've almost swapped sides this summer. But I think that's because people are trying so hard to like maintain like their kind of persona. It's just because I don't believe any Arteta out that says a Carabao Cup's enough. I believe they will absolutely, to the question I asked you guys earlier, that will not quench their thirst. I think they're saying that now because you don't win anything. But I don't know about you. When you listen to other Gooners speak, I don't personally think, Joe, that they're going to that a Carabao Cup's enough for a certain percentage of Arsenal fans.
No. I think for me, definitely, a Carabao Cup's not enough. Carabao Cup wouldn't be enough because again, I so agree with what Tom's saying. No Arsenal fan. I think I might be wrong, but no Arsenal fan is going to sit here after another second place finish, another exit in the semis or the quarters of the Champions League, and another third round exit of the FA Cup, but a nice win in the Carabao Cup. No one's going to sit here and say that's a brilliant season, and that's what we spent close to 250 million on in the summer for. No one can sit here and say that. We're spending all this money so that we can win the Premier League. That's what I think, in my opinion, that's what must happen. We must win one of the big two. Otherwise, because it was always my opinion that Arteta should have had the tools to win these big trophies. And I can't remember. I heard it on here a couple of weeks ago, and I agreed with it. It is if Arteta doesn't win next year, it's the players that he's signed that's going to get him sacked. It's the caliber of players that he's got that should win him because it's always been, we need this one player and then we've got it. It's always been Arteta saying to the board, to the Cronkies, it's just, please guys, trust me. It's just, I need Gyökeres, please guys. And then once they've given him these players, they're going to say to him, win for us. And if he comes back with a Carabao Cup next season, if I were the owners, and I think what the owners will do, they'll say, that's not what we were expecting. We were expecting one of the big two. That's what the fans were expecting. Sorry, mate, your time's up. You've had 6 years to do what you want. I appreciate that you didn't have a great squad to begin with, but what you've got now is a squad that should be winning the Champions League. And at this point, that problem is you.
Yeah, let's look at it this way, Terry. If I'll use you as an example, as you're my employer. If you've hired me, if I've come in and you've asked me to get the second channel to get it to 50k subs, and actually, no, let's say 100k subs. Let's get to 100k subs. It's already there, by the way, people. Just let you know. I'll go follow the Football Terrace Extra.
128,000 to be precise.
Yeah. We're moving. But Terry's brought me in to bring the second channel up to 100k subs. I said to Terry, look, I need the best editing software. I need the best algorithms. I need the best clips, the best content for you guys, or what you're making. Give that to me, and then that's how I'm gonna get it there. If after 2-3 years Terry's giving me everything I need, and we're still not hitting 100k, Terry's not going to be worrying about, but if I fire KJ, who am I going to get? He's going to fire me because at the end of the day, I'm not delivering on the job I'm supposed to be doing. He will worry about who's going to succeed me afterwards. He will do his recruitment process. He will get a list. He'll go through it, interview people, see who's the most compatible to do the job that I was doing and do it better. He would do that afterwards. But in that moment of after waiting for years, after giving me what I need, Terry would not sit there and just be like, you know what, yeah, let me just worry about what's going to happen next.
I mean, the biggest thing that damages the Arsenal fans who say that is Liverpool had a tougher job replacing Jurgen Klopp and brought in a guy who was on no one's real shortlist, and he came in and won the league. So the idea that these really stick to we can't get rid of them because who's better on the market? There's guys out there who can be better if given the opportunity. guys out there with their own pedigree. You just got.
That's true.
That's why you've got to figure it out.
KJ don't know this, but I'll reveal it now. I have a list of people that I have ready to replace KJ with. That's updated all the time. It's not. It's a joke. It's a joke. But no, look, there is truth. And look, I've said it for the last 2 years. As an outsider to Arsenal, I've been judging Arteta on what he's won. The last 2 years haven't been good enough, and I think his job should have been under question last year by the board, Arsenal's board. And they should be doing exactly the same thing this year. They should be looking at it. There shouldn't be it shouldn't be the never-ending story. There has to be a cut-off point where they say, we're going to go out and find a different coach who, and even if you win stuff in the next 2 or 3 years, there is also an argument to replace him. Because forget what Wenger did. I mean, Wenger's didn't end that great. Forget what Fergie did. It's even in the 70s and 80s where managers lasted a long time at clubs, what Fergie did was rare. 7, 8, 9, 10 years at a club, in old-fashioned terms, was long-term. So there comes a point where you could win the league this year, win the Champions League the year after, maybe the year after that you just pick up an FA Cup. Let's say you do that. There could still be a necessity to move him on, to potentially bring in a new voice, another top-class manager. A change is as good as a rest. There are multiple reasons as to why sometimes you have to look beyond the person that's currently coaching your team. And, you know, Pep said something very interesting in I think it was GQ magazine today. By the way, why is he looking like Alf Garnett, Nobbins? Like the man literally, have you seen what he looks like at the minute? He looks like Alf Garnett.
New look, new city, new system. Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
New look, new system, new. But he said himself that I think, I don't want to misquote him here, but he essentially alluded to the fact that after this deal with City, he's going to not retire, but take a step back and look after himself. And he mentally needs time out. And Klopp said the same thing. Like, mentally, I can't go on. I've lost it. There's also going to come a point, and it could come in the middle of winning, before you win or after you've won, where Arteta may get to a point where he needs to go. Just for himself. He might just get to a point where he's like, I need a rest from being a manager for a year or two, or I need a new dressing room or a new group. So I think this idea that he can never be replaced, it shouldn't be discussed. If your club are not discussing potential replacements ever, that's bad business. I know for a fact that Man City have a constant, ever-changing shortlist, if I'm not mistaken, Nobbins, of potential replacements of Pep. There's always going on. That isn't disrespectful. It's contingency planning, and all well-run businesses, all well-run. Listen, I have a contingency in my house. My kids know where to go if there's a fire. They know how to get out of the house if the fire's at the front of the house. They know how to get out of the house if it's the back of the house. I haven't taught one for the middle, though, and I probably should do something about that. But if you know my house, it's not a problem. There's contingencies. You have to have contingency plans. So that element has to be there 110%. Do a few super chats. Sorry, go on, Nobbins.
Can I just like on the Arsenal have to win, that sort of question. They have to win soon, one of the big two, whatever, because far too much time and money has been invested for the only return on investment to be the Community Shield. They have to win because there are elite players at Arsenal, and Tom mentioned that, who will not be happy with finishing second, etc. But they also just have to win because it's been 21 years since Arsenal won the title, and that represents the greatest gap between league titles in Arsenal's history. So that's another reason why, because every single year a title isn't won, it's extending that bit of bad history for Arsenal. They're a club who, from their first league title to whenever, there's never been that much of a gap between. Like they've always like won a title like every decade or every other decade, whatever. So bad history is being made here, and that might damage Arsenal in the longer term as well. So that's fundamentally why they need to.
Yeah,
they're not firing that man. They are not going to fire that man. You know why? Because you see what happened to Man United? You don't want to be that same team. Okay? All right? I've no offense to Man United, sorry, but you look, see where you are now? We don't want that for Arsenal. Arsenal don't want that for themselves. So long as he can keep coming second and third, they're going to keep him in. Because he's always within a chance of winning, whether we agree this or not. You know what I'm saying to you, right? I don't particularly like the way that Chelsea hire and fire. I don't like it. I know it gets results, but I don't particularly like it, right? But I don't think Arsenal are going to start now sending him and trying to get a new manager in, unless you're going to get someone, unless you know someone definitely is so much better than him that they're going to be able to get into that particular place. They're not going to get rid of him because he's coming second. It's not like he's even coming third. The last 3 seasons he's come second, and before that he came third. And so it's like you're almost at the cusp. And that's why I said I think there's it's a mentality thing as well. I think as well, and I think you just need one. I really do think that you need a gritty player. I don't see any of those players in there that are gritty to me.
Yeah, but, and I get the player can give that, but why is it now the player's job to instill that grittiness into the squad when the guy's been there for 5 years, 6 years? Surely that's something that should be able to instill enough. And a quick one to your point about the Fergie thing, that was put on us. We didn't want Fergie to go. He said he's going. You know what I mean? So we couldn't help that. But the problem was with what Man United did is we didn't plan correctly. We had a poor contingency because we thought Fergie was going to live forever and manage us forever. We then failed when it comes to him leaving. So this is what I'm saying. Arsenal, okay, cool. Don't sack him this season for whatever reason. But they need to be looking at how they success this guy. Because again, if he, like Terry said, if he decides to step away because he's had too long and it's too much and he's a break, what then? So it may not even be Arsenal sacking him. It might be him walking away. What do Arsenal do then? They can't be scrambling around with all the investment they've put in, with all the time they've put in to building the squad. They can't be scrambling around for a new manager because they just thought, oh, it's going to be fine because Arteta is going to be here until we win. That's not. We don't know that.
You're in the same position though. You're in the same position because you still have to go and get a manager. The reality of the situation is, as long as he comes second or third, right, he's within a chance of winning. That's just that simple. So it's like I get what you're saying about, for instance, the Man United situation. We understand that your situation is slightly different, right? But the reality of the situation is, once you remove someone from the helm who's created stability, right? Stability to a point where he's not even like he's coming fifth or sixth. He's coming second, right? So at that point, you just need to back that person. You need to back that horse. Well, and I get it that it's been 20 years. Sorry.
But I think on top of that, Joe, as well, this is the other side of the argument, which I think is away from, and there's some gooners that think, well, the owners don't have the ambition, therefore they won't sack him as long as he's in the Champions League. That's fair, but I view that means you need to stop talking about Arteta then, and your attention needs to go to your owners, because you can't take it out on the man who's not being sacked. If the reason they're not sacking him is because he's actually achieving your club's targets, you've got to focus on the people setting the targets. So a different conversation, but I hear where you're coming from.